Hello folks, my name is Dr. Siegfried and thank you very much for coming to my YouTube channel. Today I'm talking about the famous vinegar and honey recipe by Dr. Jarvis, who made it famous. Dr. Jarvis, who wrote the book Arthritis and Folk Medicine and Folk Medicine, Arthritis and Folk Medicine and Folk Medicine. Dr. Jarvis was a medical doctor who graduated in 1904 from medical school, but he was from Vermont. And so he graduated in 1904, went back to Vermont to practice. And interestingly enough, at that time, there were not a lot of pharmaceuticals available to people. So the doctors in those days were using a lot of natural remedies. What he found fascinating and changed his medical career was that the local people, that once he went to medical school and came back, he says, "Oh, hey, Dr. Jarvis is, this local guy's now a doctor, so we're going to go to him and find out about him. And we're going to see what he can do to help us." So people would go to him with, let's say, bronchitis, cough, colds, flus, fevers, different problems, and basically he would diagnose them, and then they would say, "Thank you very much," and then they go home. And this went on and on and on and on with all these different problems that people go to their family doctor for and get some help. And they would just ask for a diagnosis, basically, and then he would leave. Then they would leave. And finally, he started asking the patients, "How come everybody comes to see me? I give them a diagnosis and they leave?" Of course, this is from a nutritional standpoint. And they said, "Well, what we do is we just go back and apply our Vermont folk medicine to our problems whenever we can." So he thought that was pretty interesting. So he started asking the people, started investigating what Vermont folk medicine was. And what came out of Vermont Folk Medicine was the book called Arthritis and Folk Medicine and Folk Medicine. Dr. Jarvis died in, I think it was 1950 or 1960, and his books are still available. These two books are still available on the internet. You can fish them out for about $5, and I fish them out all the time to give to patients. So you can fish them out for $5 and get the complete story. But the sum and substance of his work for our purposes today, from a nutritional standpoint, is the vinegar and honey recipe maintains the pH of the blood. Your blood is supposed to be 7.35, 7.45 on a pH scale. If you maintain a slight bit of acidity in the bloodstream, you're going to have a higher immunity. He showed that over and over and over and over. All kinds of what are considered these days infectious diseases were helped tremendously. People would build up their immune system with this and not get sick. Or if they got sick, they could use this and they would get over things. Same thing in the animal world. He used it for many, 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 many conditions, as well as in the human patients, but I'm not going to get into that. I want to make the point today that you can make this apple cider vinegar and honey, helps to balance your pH of your bloodstream, and helps with the immunity and calcium metabolism, all kinds of things. Now, in my practice, I offer patients certain whole food concentrates, which are very important. However, this is a very simple way on a daily basis to help your system your blood stay balanced, your pH stay balanced, and your immune system to stay balanced. So how do we do it? We take honey, raw honey, and you get a jar about this big, and you put the honey in like this and you let it drain out. And what happens is, once it drains out, you can see that little bubble there, it's pretty cool. And also you could go to Jeff Hayes Films if you want to learn even more about honey. It's an ancient food, does all kinds of things. Natural antibiotic, natural cough suppressant, it helps with healing wounds, on and on and on. Jeff Hayes Films, Jeffhays Films. He has a big documentary on it. Okay, so you put the honey like this and you let it drain out, so it's going to fill up about to here, maybe about to here. And then we get raw honey around here. This is Hannah's honey from around here. I'm in McMinnville, Oregon, and it's good honey. It's clover honey. There's all kinds of honey. This is a clover honey, not too expensive, just, I don't know, $5 or $6. And then you put that in, and then you take, this is Bragg's raw apple cider vinegar. In fact, Paul Bragg probably got the same information from Dr. Jarvis as well. But the point is, this is a very good honey, this is a very good vinegar, and it's got the mother culture, so it's really thick, which is really good. You take this, you dump it upside down, you fill it in, you put it in there, and then Once it's in there, you just put this on the counter and you can just spin it like this for several days. You can go like this for several days, and then what happens is it just becomes homogeneous, just like this. And then we take it and put it in the we get a pint jar and keep it on the counter, and every time you eat or several times a day, you take a couple teaspoons of it. Dr. Jarvis used to recommend you sip it while you eat. He would actually recommend either sipping 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar and or vinegar and honey, depending on the situation. I just tell patients to try vinegar and honey like in a little shot glass and sip it while you eat. Does all kinds of things, digestion, all kinds of things. Like I said, basically you think in terms of balancing the pH of the bloodstream and building up your immune system, and it helps. It's tremendous for digestion as well. So you just put this together. You know, this is a couple bucks, this is a couple bucks. You put it together, you put it on the counter, and you take a shot glass maybe first thing in the morning in some water, in some spring water. You're done for the day, or you can sip it while you eat. So that's pretty much it for the vinegar and honey recipe. The other thing that Dr. Jarvis used to say, his recipe, it got to the point where his home recipe for his patients that he gave to all of them, make your vinegar and honey. If you wanted to separate them out, that's okay. But make sure that you have this available. Make sure you have the vinegar and the honey available. Then he also used to say, get some kelp tablets. And the beauty of kelp is the trace minerals. The trace minerals are what we call the mineral activators to your immune system, to your endocrine system, so that your body can make new cells. And what we use for kelp these days is a product, it's called Green Nutrients from Nutriplex Formulas, which has a lot of different greens in it, but also a lot of kelp in it. And the kelp is loaded with the minerals from the ocean, and it has a lot of iodine in it, so it addresses a lot of different problems. You could still maybe find a good iodine supplement, which we use here as well, but the point I'm trying to make is Dr. Jarvis said, vinegar and honey, kelp tablets, and a dose of iodine. The iodine that we use here, a lot of times maybe prolamine iodine from Standard Process. We have another company that we have a seaweed formula from Maine Coast sea vegetables. It's called an iodine formula. But again, the point is the vinegar and honey together or separate. You take a couple kelp tablets a day. You take an iodine supplement every day, and you're giving yourself a tremendous baseline for maintaining the pH of your bloodstream as well as your immune system. Now, if you have any questions, you'll always feel free to give me a call, 503-472-6550. Be happy to chat with you for a few minutes. Or you can go to my email at dunchiropracticclinic@gmail.com and email me. Be happy to talk with you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, and build up your immune system.